There are stories that get under your skin, stories that make you question what justice really looks like. And then there are stories so perfectly constructed that the ending hits you like a punch to the chest that you somehow never saw coming. The Escape Route was written by Rod Serling himself, adapted from a short story by Joseph Petrarca. It was directed by Barry Shearer, and it starred Richard Kiley in the lead role with a supporting cast that brought real weight to the material. Kiley was an incredibly accomplished actor, and his performance here is precisely why the story works as well as it does. So let us get into the plot. The story centers on a man named Joseph Strobe. He is a former Nazi war criminal who has escaped to South America after World War II. He lives in hiding among other German expatriates, constantly looking over his shoulder, terrified that Israeli agents are closing in on him. And they are. The shadow of consequence follows this man everywhere he goes, and Serling makes sure you feel that suffocating paranoia in every single scene. One day, Strobe visits a local art museum, and this is where things start to get interesting. He becomes absolutely transfixed by a painting. It depicts a peaceful lake scene, a fisherman sitting calmly by the water, completely at ease with the world. No danger, no judgment, no hunters closing in, just perfect, quiet serenity. For a man who has lived in constant terror, this painting represents something almost unbearable in its appeal. It represents escape. It represents a world where nothing he has done can reach him. Strobe becomes obsessed. He returns to the museum again and again, staring at this painting, fantasizing about disappearing into it. Meanwhile, the walls are closing in. The Israeli agents are getting closer. His fellow expatriates are growing suspicious and volatile. A fellow fugitive is actually killed during this period, and Strobe witnesses just how real and immediate his danger has become. The tension is extraordinary here because Serling does not let you forget, for even a moment, who this man is. He is not sympathetic in the traditional sense. He is a monster. But he is a monster who is terrified, and Richard Kiley plays that contradiction brilliantly. Now here is where the supernatural element enters the story. Strobe discovers something extraordinary. When he touches the painting, he can actually enter it. He can step into that serene lakeside world and exist there, safe from everything pursuing him. He is stunned by this discovery. For a brief moment, this mass murderer actually finds peace. The painting is his miracle. It is his way out. Now here is where the supernatural element enters the story. Strobe discovers something extraordinary. When he touches the painting, he can actually enter it. He can step into that serene lakeside world and exist there, safe from everything pursuing him. He is stunned by this discovery. For a brief moment, this mass murderer actually finds peace. The painting is his miracle. It is his way out. And this is where Rod Serling delivers one of the most morally perfect twist endings ever constructed for television. Are you ready? Because this is brilliant. When Strobe enters the painting permanently, he does not end up in the peaceful lakeside scene he had been obsessing over. Instead, he finds himself inside a completely different painting. He is in a stark, horrifying depiction of a Nazi concentration camp. He is trapped there, not as a guard this time, as a prisoner. He is surrounded by barbed wire, by suffering, by the very world he helped create and inflict upon millions of innocent people, and there is no way out. He is frozen inside that image forever, experiencing on an endless loop exactly what he spent his career engineering for others. The camera pulls back to reveal both paintings hanging side by side on the museum wall, the fishing scene peaceful and undisturbed, and the concentration camp painting, where if you look closely enough, you can see the tiny figure of Joseph Strobe trapped eternally inside his own crimes. Let us just sit with that for a second. Serling does not need a courtroom. He does not need a trial. He does not need an execution. The universe itself becomes the judge here, and the sentence is devastatingly appropriate. Strobe spent his life creating prisons for other people, and now he is sealed inside one forever. He thought he was escaping. He was walking straight into exactly what he deserved. This is why Night Gallery matters. Serling was doing something deeper than just telling spooky stories. He was using the supernatural as a delivery mechanism for moral truth. The escape route is essentially a meditation on the idea that justice has a long memory, that there are crimes so enormous that the universe itself will not allow them to go unanswered. There is no escape route for a man like Joseph Strobe. The title itself is a cruel joke that only fully lands on your second viewing. Richard Kiley gives this role everything it deserves. He makes Strobe desperate and pathetic and terrifying all at once, which is exactly the correct approach. You never forget what this man is, but you watch his fear with an almost clinical fascination. If you have never seen Night Gallery, this episode is exactly where you should start. And if you have seen it, go back and rewatch The Escape Route, knowing the ending. Watch how carefully every detail is constructed to make that final image land with maximum devastation. Serling was a master, and this story proves it in about 25 minutes flat. Drop your reaction in the comments below and tell me whether that ending hit you the way it hit me. Thank you so much for being part of our community, and I'll see you next portrait.